The views and the opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities of LFTP Productions.
Woo! Hey, who said these ladies can't get it? You know how they get it. They come on the scene and we say, Divas, and talk and make it. I like the way you walk and Divas, Divas. I like the way you talk and Divas, Divas. I like the way you block it, Divas, Divas. We got the diva doses. 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 We got the diva doses.
Welcome to the Divas Dose podcast show. Here where nothing's off topic because everything is definitely up for discussion. I'm your gracious co-host, Sharnita, or just simply Nita. And to my left, we have the one and only
Peaches with no cream, but I got all the tea.
And to my right, we have
your girl, Oh-So Mimi.
All right, and we have a very special guest joining us today in place of Hey Renee. She's under the weather. Hope you get well soon, girl. We have none other than
Boy Drew, the charm god of the Charm Hour, here on the LFTP network. Yes, I'm excited about this.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Okay, so before we get started, we just want to say a quick prayer, and then we're going to jump right on into this juicy topic. Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we humbly come to you, thanking you for traveling grace to and from this destination, and we ask that you bless this union of 3 women, 1 guy, 4 voices, and 1 space. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
God,
Amen.
dog it.
You okay?
I was rooting for you, baby, but we gonna get it together.
I said 3 and 1. That's 4.
Okay.
Something wrong with you, Peaches. Anyway, don't start with me. Anyway, tonight's topic is none other than why are so many Black Americans pro-Trump than the white counterparts? Another, can I say another? Another one? Okay, Another politically fueled topic.
Yeah, I love it here.
Oh my God, we're gonna get canceled. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we're not going to get canceled.
All right, so who wants to kick it off?
I voted for Donald Trump. Proudly. And I didn't just vote for Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
I voted for Donald Trump at the Shrine of the Black Madonna of MLK. One of the proudest things that I could do as a Black man here in the United States of America. Here's why I voted for Donald Trump, plain and simple. I have an issue with the Democratic Party because we do not see the real racism that they have. Who is Joe Biden, somebody who wrote the crime bill of 1994, to tell me that I'm not Black if I don't vote for him? I have an issue with that. I also have an issue with the Democratic Party and what they've done with the Civil Rights Act. What they have done is they've talked about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and have lumped it in with LGBTQ and transgender movement. That's civil rights. That is not civil rights. Civil rights addressed directly the issue of racism as it pertained to Black people in this country, which was also given to other minority groups in this country. Closely related is going to be, and only group of people that I'm going to lump in with this is Mexican Americans. That is it.
So how do you feel about the fact that he just signed an executive order to do away with the Civil Rights Act?
He is expanded parts of it, not the entire act. It's because Biden added to it. He didn't erase. If he erases the voters' right of 1965, right, then they can be discriminatory. Mm-hmm. We have that, right? Mm-hmm. But we also have to understand this too, as it pertains exclusively to Black people. Mm-hmm. We are mentioned in the Constitution. We are United States citizens. We have rights. We can fight it, not complain and get on TikTok. We have constitutional rights because we are citizens. We have been declared that in the Constitution. So we could talk, I don't know the exact specifics, but from what I read, it was parts that it was expanded on of what he denied or reversed. But are you telling me that he actually reversed the Voters' Rights Act of 1965?
And he did away with diversity, equity, inclusion.
Now, I know he did that.
So here's my plight. Sorry, Peaches.
I just want to say
here's my
plight.
plight. Sorry. Here's my plight. You're right. We can fight discrimination. We can fight racial injustice. But my thing is, We've been fighting that for so long. How many wins have we got? Especially from the judicial process, especially when you have police killing civilians. The only option you have now is civil. Go ahead.
Well, I voted for Kamala Harris, and it was only
It's
because
Kamala, not Kamala. So you couldn't have voted for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Miss Harris, just say Miss Harris.
whoever, y'all know who I'm talking about, the one that claimed to be black
Well,
but
you
really
calling
ain't black.
Kamala like the Trump supporter?
She's
It's
biracial.
Kamala. It's not.
She's
She's
not black.
She's biracial. It's unfair.
Well, you know,
She's
that's the thing about us
biracial.
black people. We always claiming everybody. That's the problem.
That's unfair. I'm biracial. If I choose to say I'm only Hispanic, then that means I'm disregarding my father. I'm biracial. I am half Hispanic and half black, and you will not see me ever discredit either one of my parents. Call it how it is, and I know both cultures.
and we love you.
And I love you too, because you're
Well,
one of my favorite cousins.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I voted for her because I was looking for, of us women getting our rights back. I think it's pretty screwed up that the men get to tell us what we want to do with our bodies. So that's really the only reason why I voted for her. I really think the Democratic Party didn't have nobody, and we was just stuck with her.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
So is it safe to say, had she not been one of the opponents, would you have voted for Donald J. Trump?
I probably would, depending on who the other nominee was. But we all know that the Democrats didn't have nobody. And I felt like that, to be honest with y'all, I really don't feel like the woman had a dying chance. Okay. I mean, when asked what she was going to do different, it seems like she was going to keep on going with Biden's little plan or whatever. I wasn't with any of that, but because I felt like she could have, flipped around the whole thing with the women's rights and give us back our rights instead of taking us back to 1950s. That's the only real reason why I voted for her, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Why do you feel like she would have taken us back to 1950?
I think that she would have, reversed Roe v. versus Wade. I mean, like, how you just going to just tell us what we can do with our bodies?
Why? What did she say to make
Well,
you,
that's the
to
whole
make
thing.
you gather that opinion?
I don't know what she said.
Well,
But I just feel like
no, but how
she
are you
would have
going to
done it.
formulate that opinion if you don't know?
I think if the
you
pressure
can't
was
give me an
on-
example of what she said
I
that
don't, I
sparks your
don't, I
interest.
don't, I don't have to give you an example. You ask me.
No,
I'm
you
telling
have
you.
to.
No, I don't.
well,
That's who
you're
I
not
voted
making
for.
Sense. Okay, next. Go ahead, Drew.
Let's talk about Roe v. Wade, because here's the
appreciate
deal.
that.
There was a lot of push of women's rights. We got that, and so I want to talk more about identity politics with the Democratic Party. Does anybody here? I've talked about this on Charm Hour. Does anybody here know why Roe v. Wade was a thing?
Yeah, I think it was in the 70s, right? There was a lady who actually, the court case has been going on for a very long time, right? And so it was an issue where I think the husband wanted her to have the child.
Norma McCarvey is someone that was from originally from Louisiana, moved here to Houston. She was kind of a wild child. She had some other children out of wedlock before, and this was her third child, and she did not want to have that child. Mm-hmm. The only way that she could get that abortion in Texas, or AB, you got to abbreviate it so they won't ban us, AB, was she said that she was raped. Y'all know we got to say grape by a black man.
False pretenses. Okay, go ahead.
So a lot of us don't understand the very nature where Roe v. Wade came from. Not only that, it happened in Katy. So it was a lawyer, I believe, out of Dallas and Houston who went. That case is centered here. Mm-hmm. Eventually, she has the baby anyway, though, because she doesn't follow through with this. And they did a story on that as well. Mm-hmm. But she goes on to regret doing this. She goes on to regret doing this and becomes born again. Here's my point. The Democratic Party or liberal people have taken an issue without full context and made that a movement that I don't think the entire country was galvanized on or, behind anyway. So that's number one. I also think if this was a real women's right issue, well, why do we have such a high percentage of white women voting for Donald Trump again? They just kind of told you that they didn't care about women's rights because they made it a big deal about women's rights.
So I do want people to understand. The first set of statistical numbers that came out was based upon, I believe I said with 17,000 people, and of the 17,000 people, they did surveys of people coming in. So that did not encompass everybody that voted. So please don't get those numbers confused. It was 48% Caucasian women, but it was only of that subset of numbers. Okay, and so you're right. They did campaign on a Roe versus Wade, right? But Donald Trump also campaigned against immigrants. And the bulk of the immigrants that are here are the people who overstayed their visa, and they're from China. So both candidates, right?
Right.
They chose whatever agenda they wanted to use to say, hey, this is what we're running on. Now, I'm going to say this much. It didn't start here. It didn't start when he first started, when he was first elected. It started way before that. And until we wake up, it's going to be a shit show. Because everybody has gotten the wool pulled over their eyes. His whole agenda is nothing about what you guys think it is. He wants dictatorship. That's why you've heard him say over and over again, you'll never have to vote for another president. Everything that he's doing falls in line, and I'm going to call it the mustache man. If you look at everything that he did in his movement, Mr. Dump does the same thing. And
We talking about Hitler, right?
I thought we were using code.
No, we can say Hitler.
Okay.
I'm glad we're
He
going
did.
here. I'm glad we're talking about fascism and different types of government, because this has forced me to have to dial in what type of government we have and talk about this more. We have 3 branches of the government. We have a constitution. We have a law here. Okay? We came from a monarchy.
What are the 3 branches, just in case somebody doesn't know?
Judicial, executive, and legislative.
Yeah.
So that's the House, Senate, and all that, right? Okay, and this is a balance of what? Power. We got away from the monarchy. It was 13 colonies. They got away from a monarchy, and they had to develop a type of government over time so they wouldn't what? Fall under a monarchy, because we've seen that before.
Right.
Okay, so we have to separate the media from fact. We have Second Amendment rights. Will you die for your freedom? I will. Who's going to come tell me that they are Nazi? I have Second Amendment rights.
That's right.
In order to get another amendment, do you know how much time? Amendments just don't fall. We've been this country has been in existence for about 250 years. How many amendments have we really had?
Yes.
People need to understand this, that you may even see Elon Musk throwing up this Nazi symbol, as they say. But whatever he was doing, he can't change the government.
No, but here's what you got to understand. That's why I tell people, for them it's checkers, not chess.
Right.
They have put pawns in places. They have put people in places to make sure that even if it isn't done on a presidential level, they're doing it on the state level. So it rolls up. And people have to understand, when we stop reading and being active in our community, we lost our way, because all we did was gave away a vote. We didn't hold the people that we put in office accountable. So before people start bitching and moaning, they have to look at themselves.
And I believe the local vote is what really counts. To me, the hell with the presidential vote. That's just how I feel.
I mean, I used to think that. I used to think.
Because at the end of the day, it's left up to the electoral college.
I used to think that, but when you have a president coming in making executive orders, it all depends on what he puts in place. It all depends what he puts in place. And I'm going to tell you something. Oklahoma, Texas, and Florida were the test run states. Oklahoma just implemented, if they haven't already done it, saying the credentials in order to graduate high school, you have to be registered in college, registered in trade school, or sign up for the military, or you will not graduate. Now you tell me, of the demographics, how many of those children don't go to college or trade school?
Glad I'm
Well, selective service is something, if I'm not mistaken.
No. This is going to be a requirement.
But everybody is supposed to sign up for selective service by 18, if I'm not mistaken.
Supposed to.
You should.
Supposed to.
But I'm glad you said, you were talking about, we have not held ourselves accountable. So let's talk about the Democratic Party. First off, let me say this. I'm pro-black. So I didn't vote for Trump to be stepping and fetch. See, when I get in a room with white men, I did a show with Mike Ryan, who owned this liquor here. We had a conversation. I don't have a insecurity about being in front of a white man. my vote for Donald Trump was in protest to say that as a black American, I have the right to vote for who I want to
That's
if
true.
you don't align with me. But what I want the Democratic Party to do is wake up and rebuild. You've aligned yourself with white elite issues. Transgender is a white elite issue. That, regardless to what's going on, we're not talking about sexuality. We're talking about the affordability to be able to go out and change your sex and be a different identity is a middle-class white issue. That's not, you know what the biggest issue is for us that nobody's talked about? Is gentrification.
Yep, that's true.
Nobody's talked about gentrification. There is no protective rights for land for ADOS, American descendants of slaves. And we can go ahead and bring Mexican Americans into that. And I want to talk about that. Because, one, you have Mexicans that have been in Texas that ain't never been to Mexico. They native to Texas, Tejano.
Yep. True.
We let white people or white racists say that the immigration is a Mexican thing.
Yeah.
That's why I lump us, the only other group aside from black people, that's why I don't tolerate Mexican slander, is who is aligned, and we talk about indigenous to the land, is going to be them. But it ain't Chinese, Indian. See, now that we got this immigration issue, fentanyl coming across the border, we have national security issues we not talking about, but we've allowed the Democratic Party to play the identity politics, and we can't really dig into what's really happening and going on. That's why me as a black man and other black people that even have a revolutionary idea have left and went away because we see how dangerous it is. I think it's dangerous. Yeah, hey, if white people want to have a race war, let's go. I'm willing to die. I've been to the military. I was in Navy 8 years.
Yeah, but my thing is,
Let's do it.
my thing is what's put in place. So my third to the oldest daughter, she's graduated, so there's not too many things I got to worry about her. I got a daughter. In the next 4 years, I believe she'll have maybe a year and a half, 2 years left of school. When I look at Texas, I'm looking at the school vouchers. If I don't send her to private school, I got to figure it out. When I look at them doing away with diversity, equity, and inclusion, I got to figure it out. So now I can appreciate the fact that we're now forced to do things that we weren't doing in the beginning, but our fight is going to be just that much harder. Because see, now you're only going to have 2 classes because they're gonna separate us. And most of us, and I'm gonna say the people, the culture, Hispanics and blacks, are gonna be pushed to the lower end. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Most of us don't invest our money. Most of us don't know how to do stock trade. Most of us are not familiar with, we know how to dumb it down and cut down on cable and those things.
Rob Peter to pay Paul.
Right. But the survival, the longevity, the legacy, the amount of people that's going to lose their jobs because they're competing against AI in the tech field.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand? In order for us to, it's going to take 4 years for him. It's going to take 15 for us. Does it make sense? And so I'm looking at the bigger picture. My biggest thing out of this whole thing is to teach my people, learn how to read, learn to distinguish between facts and fiction. Don't believe everything that you see. We've gotten away from everything. Teaching our children, educating them. When I hear, it's disheartening me when I see a black African-American male like yourself. I appreciate your stance on it. But when I see that, I say, you're our leaders. We're women. We're looking to you for our answers. And when you say, I needed them to feel, well, what about us? Because we need to support our men. But how can we support y'all if y'all stance that y'all took, we can't identify? Because we, as mothers and women, we see the long-term effect and the damage it's going to do to the families.
So let me ask this. So are we more dependent on the government or ourselves? Because I don't think that you should ever be dependent on the government. I think
But it's
you
a
need
reality,
to depend.
Peaches.
No, I get what you're saying. Because even with Trump in office, and people may feel some kind of way, you need to be saving your money. You need to be educating yourself on investments. You need to you need to be doing that. And if you know that the schools aren't teaching your children about finances, credit, and all that, that's something that you need to teach them about. Just like, I mean, they're talking about bringing all this prayer back in school and all that. You think about the children that are Muslim. So now they have to be Christians? The children that are Buddhists, so now they have to be Christians?
Yes.
I don't think that that's fair at all.
I got some pushback on that too.
Yeah. I mean, what about the children that are atheists?
Don't care.
They don't care. So
because-
I think it's the onus is left on
But
us
the majority
at the
of
end
the
of
country,
the day, not the government.
country is Christian. We don't like to say it's a Christian name. I got some very controversial views
I ain't no
across the board.
Christian.
Y'all just bring it.
And it depends on what type of Christian you are. Let's just
Right,
be real.
Well, let's
Yep.
back it up. So there's a couple things to cover here.
True.
Let's talk about this. It's not been primarily white people that have had an issue with DEI. It's been Asian and Indian.
Expound on that.
Okay, so the most educated in the country is Asian.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And Indian.
If they
and
know
Indian.
statistically they more educated, and I got to give that job to Peaches, but I know that statistically we're doing better educationally, why she got to get it? It's been a combined political effort. See, that's what we don't understand. We made it the white man, white man, white man. We got to understand what the white man is fighting for. He losing it on all ends. Because when you remove racism as the standard of what American is, what do you then replace it with? If we say it's chess, we not thinking like chess players and understand what's going on here. So I said this a long time ago. They are no longer going to care about the plight of brown and black people. How do you tell the person that's coming from New Delhi what his struggle is if he can come to America? Only in America he can come up. He need to get you out the spot. So the issue of DEI is just not white and black. It's Asian and Indians, Arab want to come in and be able to take advantage of, I'm sorry, of what you
since you
have
since you want to make that statement, Elon Musk, what did he say? Do away with the immigrants and bring in the HB1. And then bring in all the
I'm against that. You seen the pushback. Okay, let's talk about that. You seen that pushback he getting though. See, he's getting pushback. There are white Americans that are because what they're saying is hey, they really want the spots for them, but they can read in between too.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that I'm against that, by the way, because it's like, no, it's across the board. If we're gonna have an issue with immigration.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let's talk about blacks and brown people. The issue had been with Hispanic was that they wasn't voting. Now they voting, but they voting red. And the thing is, when you talk about the Latino community, which is so closely aligned with black, see, they thought that Latinos was going to do what they wanted them to do. Latino is damn near mirroring what you see in blacks. There's 3 groups. There's some that's just Latino. They speak Spanish. They were about that. Similar to Creoles of black people, that's just Creole. Then you have some Latinos that align with white.
Yeah, most of them.
They just go white. Then you have those that grew up with us.
Yep.
They black. So you have 3, you have the same thing going on. That's why I think that politically, blacks and Hispanics, we can't allow racial divide. We really all we got collectively, and for black people, you should have seen, your vote don't matter. 80% of, almost 90% of black men, we know over 90% of black women voted for Kamala Harris, and it meant nothing. So you have to find the other group to politically align yourself with that has, the only other group of people that have any type of compassion for us is Latino.
Well,
Asian don't get, if we want to really talk the talk, they all have a prejudice. When I went to U of H, Asians was hanging with Asians. Indians gonna hang with Indians. The only other group that's gonna even get with you is Latino. But they have the dilemma that black people have is who do we vote for because we're coming up with the American identity. What is it? I have this thing where I say, what does it mean to be an American? This is why I'm okay with nationalism. But when you talk nationalism, you begin to talk about Hitler and nationalism. So we have to differentiate what we mean by nationalism, but I'm definitely for nationalism. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance, America first, I believe in those things. And if you want to have a true meritocracy in a colorblind nation, you have to say Trump is on the right path, but this is where we have to stand up and say, you have all the right to be prejudiced. I don't care about you don't want to be around black and brown people.
I don't.
But I'm an American.
I don't think that, I can't see that because I don't think a businessman should ever run the country.
Oh, I think he should.
I think he shouldn't. You think of all the major corporations that ever had either penny pitchers that came in or people that, different CEOs that came in. And those CEOs never lasted very long in those corporations because the penny pitchers, they cut too many people's jobs and things of that nature. The other people, they bought in revenue. And things of that nature. I don't think that they should because I feel like Trump is in bed with Russia. I think he's in bed with China. I think it's for his own self-benefit. He is not for the people. Now, I voted for the people. And I say that because I feel like when you get away from the compassion and you only think of self, because I asked a lot of people, why did you vote? And everybody said, I only voted according to what affected me. Mm-hmm. I don't care about what happened to y'all. Mm-hmm. I only care about myself. So when you get to a nation that's selfless, we run into a major problem.
And I will say that I am selfless because I only care about me and mine only. That is it. That's all. Just like you just said, Trump do everything that benefits him. And one day he gonna die. And so that's the reason why I put myself in a position where I can take care of me and mine only. Sorry, not sorry.
He got majority of the black votes because, I hate to say this about my people, but black people are one of the selfish races there are. And I say that because that is so true, the whole crab in a bucket mentality. Jim Crow got y'all with us. No, I ain't gonna say y'all.
Now,
I'm acting like I'm Michael Jackson. I'm acting like I ain't black.
Let me say this, Nita. I'm not trying to hold. I wouldn't dare try to hold nobody back from succeeding in life.
The majority of the vote went to Kamala, by the way, a black vote. But there were quite a bit that voted.
But I told you, that number that you seen, that was only the... Have you looked at
it changed?
Yes, that was only the first set of numbers.
Thank you for that.
That's why I'm trying to tell people, like...
So majority of black people actually voted for Trump.
I haven't seen the final...
Or it went up from what they said.
I haven't seen the final...
from what they
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
Somebody was speculating that. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No.
Peaches with tea. I like peach tea. Go ahead.
I mean, and I get it. Yeah. Hey, rave for the people. But at the end of the day, you need to look out for yourself. Like straight up. I'm not a crab in a barrel mentality type person because I like to see people succeed. Absolutely, I am. I'm very selfish. I came in this world by myself, and 9 times out of 10, if I don't leave...
Are you Christian?
No, I'm not. I'm non-denominational. I came in this world by myself, and if I don't leave in a boat, plane, or train, I'm going to leave here by myself.
Okay.
That's it. That's all. I don't know what else to say, and I don't feel bad for that. I'm non-apologetic for that. I love my grandbabies. I am selfish. You better learn.
You're not apologetic for being selfish.
Yeah,
selfish individual.
And I think that every person needs to think about yourself. You have people that sit up and die because they stressed out thinking about other people. I don't worry about nobody but my damn self.
Well, I'm a person of the community. I'm big on the community. I feel like what I've told people is for every executive order that comes down the line, I'm going to get with businessmen, people who own their own businesses, people who own nonprofits, and I'm going to say, hey, we got to work together because when they do away with the Department of Education, we're going to have those families. Yep. So you can't have a nonprofit and not service your community. And if you think about back in the 60s, 70s, 50s, it was always about the community.
Yes.
So when you got away from that and you became about self, this is what you get right now. This is why we're at right now. Don't nobody want to communicate or work together. And in order to build up a community, you have to work together. Because guess what? If I found 2 business people and I found this young man right here and he has a great business idea, you know what I'm going to do? Hey, y'all come here. I want to talk to y'all. Let's invest in this man. Because if I don't, we'll forever be where we're at.
And at the end of the day, it's benefiting you as well.
How is it benefiting me?
Because you're working with that person and you're also getting the benefits of working with them.
As if we make a contract.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, you from Houston originally?
I am.
What part? What part of town?
Fifth Ward.
Okay, I like that.
Fifth Ward, baby.
She said it proudly, too.
Fifth Ward.
Yeah,
I have been.
I like that.
Listen, my mother, when I was younger, I got thrift store clothes.
Yes.
I did not live and grow up the way I live right now. So I never forget, and I tell each one of my children, don't you ever forget where you came from. You have to give back, because if you don't, you'll lose your identity because you never know what the next man going through. And you have to, listen, it ain't always got to be about money. That's why I tell people about tithing. It ain't about money. It's about your services. It's about what you do. So when I look at everything that's coming down, like I tell them, I said, I'm not stressing. I ask God, hey, lead me. Tell me how you're going to use me in this community to bring these people together because we're going to have to stand together.
And I
Well,
can
what
say
do you pray
that.
and tell God, Peaches?
Oh, I tell him to bless me and my family and those around me. And so I will say that I've never made any money when the Democrats were in office. When Trump was in office, I made money. So I'm looking to make money this year. I'm looking not to owe the IRS thousands of dollars. You're damn right. I don't want to pay them. I want him to cut out the income tax. Why am I paying taxes on money that I make? Like, why? I'm already paying taxes. So you mean you're going to tax me again on the money I make? But don't nobody want to talk about that.
Well, he is talking about doing away with IRS.
I think he should.
And he's talking about doing away with income taxes.
So what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Is that selfish? It's good for all people.
I think also too, and I ask you that because I'm from South Park. So we talk about inner city ideology. We have to look at what's going on in inner city, who's there, what's the demographic, and we can see numbers that coincide with things such as single parent households. Do we believe in marriage? Where were we once the Democratic Party got in and started to install some of the things they thought that would help us? And really turn us into long-term voters of the Democratic Party. And we look at these others, including, because again, Indians, Asians are not white. I don't care what they say and what they came over here to put themselves under, they're not white. But what they do have is something that we have been robbed of in these communities is family. So there's really a lack of patriarchy. I know people don't like to talk about that, but there's I can look at a community that has patriarchy and where they are financially and compared to us. So for most of the Democratic demographic, especially in these communities that we come from, the Democrats are the daddy. They make sure that we have what we need, so we rely on them.
Give you just enough and then take it away.
And that's been all I want our people to see is how dangerous that is. Does racism exist? Sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Are they out of pocket? Is it all kinds of stuff going on? Of course. I personally think what the Democratic Party has been a part of is far more dangerous, though. Even though it's supposed to be, it's the oldest party. It's the oldest party in the country. And they are supposed to have, when we talk about being involved in social causes in America, they've kind of always been there. But it's just gotten too liberal and it's too dangerous for our people. We can't handle that.
But I think that's a problem, though, because what we're telling our kids is you only have two options. You have more than two options. How many people actually, you have an older child. Did you go to the polls with your child?
No.
Did you?
Nope.
You know what I did?
You went.
I went to the poll with my 18-year-old. I went to the poll with my other daughter because I have to teach them, this is your civil. If you don't like what's going on, you need to know what's going on.
Now, I did tell my son that, but he felt like his vote didn't count. But I will say this, and y'all could agree or disagree. I think us black people have been programmed to think that we're just supposed to vote Democrat, period.
Well,
Agreed.
no, not all.
Yes.
I don't think
I would say the majority. We have been programmed that
give
way.
you that, but
We've
not
been
all.
programmed because I voted Democrat for a very, very, very long time until I started educating myself on the difference between Republican, Democrat, and Independent. So I want to say
I go with the better because all of them are liars and sleaze bags.
That's what we find out that they're puppets.
Thank you, Nita.
They're puppets.
Yeah.
All of them are puppets. But I
go with the lesser of the two evil. And whenever I vote, I haven't always voted straight Democratic ticket.
Me
I will
either.
て you that.
Me either.
I go with the lesser of the two evils. I'm not with that.
I'm in agreement. And here's the other thing. So my mom used to campaign for the mayor a while back, right? And so one thing that I have seen the difference is they used to go to the neighborhoods. They used to campaign in the neighborhoods. Then when the internet came along, you don't see people.
You don't.
But I will say this much. If you follow them, they're going to let you know where they're at. If you're truly interested, you can go to their fundraisers. You can hear them speak.
Yep.
But how many people are interested?
Not too many.
Not too many.
And just real quick, I just want to ask Mr. Drew a question.
Mr. Drew. I like
know
the
you like Put some respect.
Hold on, Sharnita. Let me take it to my receptionist.
I know. Put some respect on your name and mine. Nah. So let me ask you, what do you think when Donald Trump said if he ever ran for presidency, he would run as a Republican because they're one of the dumbest parties? And he was caught live saying, yeah. What do you think about that? And being a person that voted for him.
It's politics. They all politicians.
Okay.
There's a level of.
Do you think it was some type of?
Well, he had been
rightness?
a Democrat. He had been a Democrat. This is what I think. This is what I think about white men. That no matter where they fall, they white.
True.
That's
I'm
true.
a white man. I could be what I want to be.
Yep.
White men was fighting each other back then.
White
they fought against
privilege.
Britain. Britain funded us to be here, and they fought against that.
Yep.
So I know that he white. The rules for him is different than it is for everybody
Absolutely.
else
That's
because they
right.
built the country. Now,
They.
I don't-
I don't think they.
Well-
I
I think they built the country.
He mean economically. He means
Oh, okay.
we know
Thank
what we
you
did.
He means economically.
Over
Thank you for clearing
1.3.
that up, Mimi.
Let me say this
Baby.
very
He's
clear.
economically.
You better,
Over 1.3 billion pounds of cotton was picked. So let's talk. That's a whole nother.
Okay,
Yeah,
we ain't gonna go there.
sure.
Okay,
But what I'm
anyway.
saying is, he set the establishment up. Okay, I don't care about that. I got to look at where we're headed right now. What's happening with the Democratic Party? So when we talk about the lesser evil, what I think the greater evil is gender affirming therapy for children. So when you have a vice president in Tim Walz that you bring on, and that's already has some legislation of that in his state, and that's finna be your vice president, I'm sorry. We got the doot. I don't care if they throwing Nazi symbols up. I don't care if they got people over there dropping M-bomb. We could party with that. Let's do it.
So let me ask you. So you have an 18-year-old, right? So that means you have, X amount of other children, right?
I got 6 kids.
Okay.
By the same
Well,
woman.
I didn't know if you wanted me to pick that up.
No, I'll tell everything.
I'm just saying. I'm very
He
cautious.
love his babies,
Again,
girl.
I'm very cautious about.
Shoot.
Unlike Peaches, no, just playing.
My story has to be told because of my message. Go ahead.
So every time I speak, I try to speak through experience because I have a daughter that's gay.
Okay.
Okay. So unless you kind of like certain topics, unless you've been through it, it's hard for you to speak on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, one thing I've said to her is, if you're gay as a girl. You will never dress like a man. You will never change your sex to be a man. You are who you are, but accept what you are. And I'm going to accept that.
No, you're not accepting it. You're not accepting it. But go ahead.
I'm accepting it because I love my child.
She's not accepting it. You hear what she just told me?
No, I do. I accept.
About the dressing and all that. I see. What
No.
Go ahead.
I accept it because one, your plight is with God.
Come on.
I love you because you're my daughter.
But
we're not gonna dress like a man and wear no. Because just because you're gay don't mean that you need to look like a man. That just means that just means your attraction to someone. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to look like how you feel.
You gave her
some people
stipulations.
like that, though.
Because we can use that from a hoe. Just because you a hoe, you
I
got to
like
dress
talking
like
about
a
hoes.
hoe.
What you think about hoes?
I'm just saying, just because you a hoe, you got to dress like a hoe.
You say just because what?
Just because you a hoe, you got to dress like a hoe.
Yeah.
I would
No.
prefer.
no, some whores are
No.
undercover.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go there though.
Thank you. My point exactly.
I say whores sleep with
I
everyone.
like where you're going with that, though. I would like. You going somewhere?
You understand?
You
what I'm saying?
you gotta solicit your property.
No.
You don't have to, baby.
But I know
Your
I need
mouth,
to see where
your
she's
mouth
going.
is a gift of gab.
She's on the road, but I'm just trying to
Let's
see where
talk
she's
about
going.
this because I have
gotta solicit your
had to
property.
guide children in a world where they are exposed to so many things out in the world away from me.
Social media, child.
This is me. This
It's
is
more
me
than
talking.
social media, Peaches.
Let him finish.
I am someone who did not define myself at some point as being all the way Christian, which was erroneous. Not having a relationship with God the way I needed to, which was erroneous. And through time and journey, I realized that the morality we're looking for is in the scripture. So whatever you choose to do as an adult is on you. I'm going to just lead that person to scripture. That's my personal belief. But we all have a life choice that we live or whatever. However, I, no matter what you choose, believe in this. I also think in society it's better for us to go a certain way and not live in confusion. Because the truth is, when we're talking about any sexual act, we're really talking about behind closed doors, which totally helps me understand the whole sex outside of bed, sex outside of married people being defiled, because it's perverse at that point.
Right.
Sex is not a public thing. Sex is not something that needs to be promoted about in front of everyone. So whatever you're doing, do it behind closed doors. But what we not going to do, no matter what your sexual tendencies are and what you like, we not going to act like you something that you ain't.
Exactly.
And that's all it is to it. Because what happens is you then begin this programming of kids. When we were growing up, so let's just say we're not far in age, like between each other. It's not like this large gap.
Right.
We knew it was some gay people in school. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
gay girl, gay guys.
Yeah.
But at the level in which our kids get it now is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that? Because we've allowed it to come through programming, and it came over time. We've seen it on TV. What was it, Greg?
Never
and,
used to see that on TV.
Whatever they name it. You know, once you see it on TV, once you get it in programming, it becomes a problem. So that was just gay. We just had gay stuff on TV. That's one thing. But when you begin to actually warp
The movies.
do you know people can't tell a woman from a man now?
No.
When you were a kid and you were hearing about Revelations, you thought that they could magically make a man look like you. I could tell you a woman. You what a woman, y'all what women look like. They not talking about that. They talking about the augmentation. You got the tranny augmentation that with the BBL match, that's what we can't tell apart. So now a kid think that the BBL that's a woman, but women ain't built like that. Women are not built like that. We don't even know what real women. What's her name? Natanji Brown. The
Supreme Court Justice.
you're a Supreme Court Justice, black woman, and you can't tell me what a woman is.
What you mean? Who is she?
Katanji.
You don't know who Katanji?
Child, I don't know who that is.
She's a Supreme
child.
Court Justice, and they ask her what's a woman. She can't even say that.
What do you mean she asked what was a woman?
They asked her.
How did they ask her?
What is the definition?
Definition.
She didn't know no definition of the woman. Is she a woman?
She skated around that thing like she was in the roller rink.
So she not a woman.
It's not about that.
No,
It's about the pronouns.
Well, I'm just saying,
it is
somebody
the
please
liberal-
educate me. I
it
don't
is-
even know who she is.
Katanji,
Is she a
she's
she
a
or
Supreme
he?
Court. She's a she.
Well, you ain't got time to explain because we about
Okay.
to wrap it up. But I'm gonna need you to go read who Katanji.
Why he can't do it in 2 seconds?
Prime example of black people
She's a
that don't
Supreme
read.
Court Justice.
Exactly.
Oh, baby, I do read, but I'm just not into no
Absolutely,
Katanji
Mimi.
Harrison.
She's a Supreme
Budges.
Court Justice in the Supreme Court.
And go read up on her. Yeah.
Features of
It's-
it.
You know how they do? You see how they do me, y'all? I ask for clarification. I am
Well, how are you
asking to
sitting
be
up here on this
educated,
panel
and they
and
won't
you
even
don't know
educate me because
your
I don't know who the
politics?
hell a Katanji is, and so I'm
You don't
asking
know who
to be.
appointed her either,
I
huh?
don't because
I
I
know.
don't look at television.
I know.
Y'all look at television. I read.
Well, you should
Y'all
have
the
read
one.
up on Katanji.
If I've known
First
that
of
we
all,
was
I don't look at television.
I don't either. So why can't y'all tell me who
I
Katanji
do,
is?
but I don't.
Okay,
That's not
go
a high
read.
priority.
Go read. Okay, so we come to the end of the show of the wrap up.
Bullshit.com.
Yeah, for you.
I
anyway.
can't read and she can't
So-
count. How about that shit?
So we've come to the end of the show, y'all. I know, Peaches, you got a lot you want to just break down and you want us to teach you, but we gotta go. We gotta go. So anyway, the wrap up. What did you take away from tonight's topic? Real quick, 2 seconds, Peaches. Come on, Katanji. That's what you took away from
That's what I
tonight's.
took away from it.
Okay. Real quick.
For me, I'm
Mimi.
definitely going to engage in more conversation with African American males just to get their concept of why they voted for Trump, just so I can take it back to my female constituents and say, hey, this is what we need to work on.
All right. Mr.
I'm going
Drew.
to run for office so I can get a bunch of Democratic women to support me. That's what I'm
Why
doing.
can't you be independent?
I'm scandalous.
Why can't you be independent? Why do you have to?
Because I want the Democratic women to support me. And I got a beard to keep it clean and nice.
And what I took away in the words of Donald Trump, the reason why the black people voted, he got more of the black people votes, was because he has a mug shot and he has a criminal record.
Now.
So that was in the words of Donald J. Trump. So you guys keep on
You mean
voting for him.
they uneducated and they don't read?
That part two. Okay, so that concludes our show for tonight. And we would like you guys to check out our show every Monday at 8 p.m. on YouTube with the LFTP.
Network, LFTP network.
She been drinking, y'all.
I have, but I'm still alert, y'all.
She been drinking.
And been thinking.
That's what I deal with, Drew. You got my back? You got my...
Hey, it's rough.
Okay.
It's rough for you.
It's rough.
Look who you sitting in between.
I know. So anyway, you guys, like, subscribe, and share. And we want to thank Mr. Drew.
And he coming
Our
live on
special
Tuesday.
guest. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Let the people know,
8
Drew.
p.m. Live all the time. And guess what? We want you to subscribe to this channel and subscribe to the Charm Hour. We are doing a 50,000 sub campaign here at the channel. We want 50,000 people to join us on all the shows to have great conversation.
Yes.
So we have a campaign right now. We want y'all to be a part of that. Throw
Yes.
50K in the chat.
Don't forget, when you're sitting there looking at us and liking and subscribing, make sure you get you some big stick.
All right. Okay.
With no cream.
I know, right? No cream.
I don't
with the
have
big
no
sticks.
cream, baby, but I'm waiting on the cream. Okay.
Okay, so take us on out, you guys. Have a good one.
Have a good
Bye.
one.
See
Bye.
you next time.